Grace and peace, y'all. Hope everybody is feeling blessed this evening. All right, I had to set myself up and start recording because I was channeling into the energy of the divine feminine. And when I started pulling a few cards to see where we were, what was coming to me was becoming a divine feminine in her healing era. And that's exactly what popped out for me. We got the feminine energy card and the healing card. So I feel like this chat is going to be about that, and I feel like it's going to be a continuous thing where we're talking about stepping into divinity as a feminine. Because, of course, we got all these readings that talk about this is for the divine feminine, but so many of us aren't fully in the position. We know about the title, we know what it means, but we don't know what it means to step into it. And I feel like that's what I'm guided to go over, not only tonight, but I guess in a few channels, because this energy feels very prominent. All right, I'm gonna get right into it. So I did pull a few cards. I do got the healing card, the feminine energy card. We got the family card, and possibilities and epiphany. So I'm feeling we're going to be speaking about what it means to be divine when you are feminine. Now, obviously, this is probably going to be geared more so toward my feminines, but I feel like we're going to have some masculines present on these videos because it's the masculine energy that don't know the difference a lot of times. All right, and I'm also getting that a lot of feminines are talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk. Ooh, Holy Spirit, come through. So this is the main reason why it needs to come out, because the healing is not being acknowledged. The title is being snatched up, and then it's confusing those who are actually in the position to become it, and those who are trying to step into it because they don't quite know the framework. So let's get into it and see what comes out tonight. And this may be a regular thing. Now, I am working on building my platforms. Most of what I do is in the 3D. I set up classes for my work, but I've been working on building my platform for you guys so that I can start bringing stuff to my online community. So definitely make sure you like my video, share it with somebody who you know needs it. Yeah, subscribe, become a member of the family who is on the path to enlightenment and self-mastery. Okay, so let's get into it. Got the harmony card, family energy, dormas y tus paques. Where are we going? Take me in. All right, I dropped one. Okay. We got the divine masculine card coming out. So yeah, we got some masculines who are present. They're learning about how to be the feminine, or how to find the feminine is what I'm hearing. All right. So the first thing that I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of hidden cards. We got the paranoid card, which has somebody hiding. Then we have the two-faced card. You can't see their face. We got the mask card. So this is the thing. We got a lot of feminine energy who are hiding behind the fact that they are women to be considered divine feminine. So there are a lot of women who are studying up on how to be considered divine to get into these positions. Now, of course, it is up to you to know this because you're only going to trap yourself. Only going to trap yourself in a whole new cycle, because there are telltale signs as to who's a karmic and who is in a divinity. And to go a bit deeper than that, understanding that You can be a karmic to a masculine and be another masculine's divine feminine. It works that way. You could be a divine feminine and be a whole karmic to a specific masculine. I don't know who that is for, but it is for you, honey. Now, I paused it to pick up this card up off the floor, and of course it is the karmic card. We might as well just left her down there because really what you doing here? But that's pretty much it, saying throw out being karmic. And then I placed it right on the nightlife card and the clingy old exes. So somebody got a clingy karmic ex, masculine or feminine, haters, lessons learned, and third parties. So somebody do, but that's for you to figure it out, to burn the bridges, and to move on from that. Now, even with the idea of moving on, it brought me right to this spread right here. We have blocked and boundaries. This is something that a divine feminine is masterful about. She don't play about her boundaries. She will easily block you and walk away and not feel bad about it, and she should not. Why? Because if a divine feminine feels disrespected, she feels unreciprocated, she feels like she's being used or trying to be taken advantage of, she know how to move. She know how to shift. And this is something that a lot of women hide behind. It's one thing to be hurt and want to move on and slide and even go into isolation of some sort, becoming broken, right? Because of your heartbreak. You have to move on and heal at the same time. It's not just about walking away and saying, oh, it doesn't matter. The healing has to happen, and that healing comes with the reflection. I've seen a reflection card here somewhere. I'm telling you. Epiphany, reflection. The whole point is for you to evaluate what brought you to this place. The feminine, yes, is very much guided by her heart space, guided by her emotions. But her emotions are logical because they're based on a fact. It's not just, it happened and now I'm angry, but you don't quite know where the anger surfaced from. Sorry, I had to take a pause. I wanted to get my Heal Yourself deck. So I feel like we're going to be talking about what we're releasing and what we're installing in order to step into divinity. There we go. So I'm getting release fearfulness and install energetic. Now, as far as the releasing of fearfulness, the divine feminine does not fear. She is backed, heavily connected. Her bloodline backs her. And the reason is because she walks as if God is ordering her steps, because he is. Fear is not a factor. She lives wholesome. And usually, if anyone isn't an op or is a problem for her, it's because they personally need to do some work. It's not her, it's them. The divine feminine doesn't have ego-driven ideas, ego-driven objectives. It's just not a thing. Her ego is tamed. The only time her ego would flare is if she needs to protect herself, and even then she's not physically gonna do nothing. Why? Like I said, heavily protected and heavily connected. Now, as far as installing energetic, being a divine feminine is an energy, and you must embody it. If you don't embody divine feminine energy, it doesn't even work for you. In order to embody it, you must work on your essence. Now, if you've had many partners, your essence is tainted. If you are in a relationship right now, your essence is tainted. It takes a bit to rebuild it, and the only thing I know that builds the essence better than anything else is celibacy. We just gonna go ahead and say it. Now, to go in a bit deeper on celibacy. Celibacy is one of the biggest healers of feminine energy. When you step into celibacy, you are closing yourself off to receiving energy and then giving energy in a sexual way, because sexual energy, it plugs you in and ties you to whoever your partner is. So when you are physical with someone, you take on everything that is in their energy as well. So if they a hot mess, you got hot mess all over you. Let's just leave it as that, right? So it is important for you to understand that you cannot step into your divinity if you don't practice some sort of celibacy. Now, I'm not saying be married and do not, perform with your spouse, or you can't be in a relationship. No, that's not it. There's a way to do it. Now, I do believe this is a whole nother video. I don't even know if I can go into any of that on YouTube, so I might have to get a Patreon. But we will see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now, to go even further, a divine feminine is the nurturer. She is the Empress card. Everything she touches blooms. Her garden grows around her. In all actuality, I feel like every feminine should have an internal garden. That's just the way that the floor plan of my inner workings have always shown itself. It's always been a garden of some sort. Of course, I love my plants, but yeah. Now, the reason is because in a garden, that's where you are able to cultivate the fruitfulness. That's creating bountiful surface area. If you notice, they say that if you give a woman a house, she will make it a home. If you give a woman some food, she gonna make you a meal. You give her, a good time, she gonna probably make you a baby. It's because our job is to flip it, to build into whatever we're given. Now, that also means if you give her drama, she gonna double it, multiply it, and give it to you even harder. Which is why a lot of people are living that lifestyle. So, what are you giving to be multiplied is a question to ask yourself if you're masculine. And if you are feminine, what are you allowing yourself to receive? Multiplying it, and that's not even what you want to be doing. We'll see where things go with that. What else are we releasing? What else are we releasing? We are releasing disconnected and installing empowered. Yes. Because that's the whole point. It's not about bashing how you live now. You need to be able to look at how you live now and be like, oh, wow, I've come far. That's the point. That is the point. How you live now is how you know you are living in divinity. So if you haven't fully stepped into that lifestyle, that's okay. You know where you're trying to get to. So you need to reflect. You need to feel empowered in order to fully do this, right? And the other side, we're releasing feeling disconnected. Now, the divine feminine has been disconnected from herself for a very long time. This is something I channeled into, I feel like maybe about 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry, my baby is enjoying her night. We supposed to be watching a movie together, and instead I am channeling with you guys. So she's watching a movie without me, and I want to watch it too because it's a comedy. But okay. The feminine is in an era where we are looking for the home, the hub. And it's hard to find a home because the feminine line has been so deeply tainted. As a feminine, the one person you don't trust or you find yourself not trusting are other feminines. And that is strategic. That was systematic, the way that we were put in a position to not trust other feminines. I don't know why I'm seeing Salem witch hunts, other feminines selling out feminines because they didn't want to be put on trial as a witch, or they didn't want to seem like they were associated with witchcraft. So I'm getting, definitely, there were a lot of women betraying women. I'm also seeing war times, when husbands would go to war and some husbands did not come back. The feminines who lost their husbands were looked at as less than, and they were treated as such. They were treated as if they were thrown away when that wasn't the case. They were treated as if their value had diminished because they were no longer a spouse or didn't have their spouse. And it caused a divide amongst women, because the women who were still in happy marriages that didn't have to suffer the losses, they felt like they were more empowered than the women who didn't. And they used that to feel, the energy is so sad. They used it to feel more entitled. Entitlement, man. I'm telling you, entitlement is the biggest mental illness we are dealing with in this era. And it's been for a long time. Releasing defensiveness and installing content. Okay, this one might even be for me. I'm going to take it from me, y'all. So, releasing defensiveness. Not being worried about having to prove yourself. This is definitely a divine feminine quality. You prove nothing. You are everything. So as a divine feminine, this is why you can walk away. This is why your boundaries are on point. This is why you know that you are protected. You walk the way that you do, because you don't need to defend yourself ever. Your energy speaks volumes. The way you carry yourself speaks volumes. When you are walking in divinity, someone else will make sure that you are spoken to or about in very high regard because of the way you carry yourself. And I definitely will say I've seen this in real time, where someone would say, oh, no, that person, definitely not. Definitely not. That person could not possibly. And it'd be a truth. No matter how much somebody didn't want to believe it, your energy speaks for itself when you are walking in divinity. So, not defensive. And then it says install content. Yes, the understanding, the knowledge, the wisdom on how to become. So many of us are ready for this leap. They're ready to take that chance to become who they know they were designed to be. But they don't know how to do it. The steps aren't fully there. It is a lifestyle that you have to step into. But every lifestyle is going to be a bit different, because it has to appeal to your soul. Otherwise, you're living someone else's life. That is not authentic. It's not genuine. And those are two things that a divine feminine are definitely about. So I just seen the alpha symbol. All right, so I just seen the alpha symbol. A lot of people think that a divine feminine would be considered an alpha female, and it's not. A divine feminine is a sigma. She is someone who does not need a crowd. She doesn't need validation. She doesn't need someone to tell her that she is worth what she's worth. She just is. And that can't be taken from her, regardless of how much someone may want to try. Because I will say, yes, being a divine feminine is the pinnacle of womanhood. But we live in an era where women gonna try you, right? When you are stepping into divinity, your energy signature changes. It's almost as if you are wearing a unique scent. Okay, so I just seen that Rihanna line where they were selling the pheromones. I'm sure somebody gonna put in the comments if you know what it is called. But that's what I'm seeing, like pheromones. Your pheromones change. Everyone can smell it on you. Masculine energy can smell it on you, but other feminine can smell it on you. And for a feminine who is still living in her karmic traits, it is triggering. Now, this isn't for you to think, oh no, it's a them versus me type situation. This is something we all need to get away from. You're not doing battle with the feminines who are about something different or who are learning about themselves. You're not doing battle with them. What you're doing is you're being tested about if you really want to do this walk. Is this really the route you're trying to go? Are you really ready to become? Because it doesn't just happen. You don't just wake up and become. You are doing work on yourself. Your shadow work is on point. A divine feminine don't play about her shadow work. And the reason is because it is through the shadow that you really learn yourself. To understand your triggers. What makes you angry? Why does it make you angry? What is the source of that emotion within you? If when somebody jumps in front of you in line, you immediately are ready to go off, how dare you disrespect me that way? Why are you disrespected? Why did it affect you so deeply? That sounds like it's an ego thing. If someone jumping in front of you in line is a big deal. I'm going to use an example. I was in line at, I want to say it was a Walgreens. And as I'm standing on line, this young lady decided she was going to cut in front of me on purpose. She wanted me to know she was going to cut in front of me. And she did. And I looked at her, I said, oh, do you need to go first? Go right ahead. And she looked at me as if like, how you gonna let me go if I'm taking it? And I was, it doesn't affect, those things don't affect me. Because if you needed to go faster, you know what? I'm going to allow it. Why? Because I don't rush anything. That's another divine feminine trait. Rushing. If I rush, I miss what God is trying to instruct me to do. I'm not combative. I'm not going to rush. So she hopped in front of me in front of the line. And as I'm standing there, the next register opens up. And the woman at the register looks at me and says, excuse me, can you come down here? I was literally about 6th person in line, and now I'm at the front. This is what I mean by embodying what you are. She jumped in front of me, and that was completely fine with me. I have no reason to hold on to that. That karma does not belong to me. But the Lord did reward my patience by making sure that not only did her skipping me not affect me, but I moved out even quicker than I would have anyway. This is what it means. When you are a divine feminine, you are highly magnetic. You get whatever you want. Whatever you want. And some may look at that as you don't get everything you want because you should have this, you should have that. See, this is the thing. When you are walking in divinity, superficial doesn't matter. It's not about how much you spent on a bag. It's how much you are worth. You're worth someone buying that bag for you, regardless if you want it or not. That's divinity. All right, so I got my advice deck. So let's see what we got for advice. Father God, can you close us out with advice? Close us out with advice, Lord God. And thank you guys for being here. If you didn't already hit the like button, go ahead and like it. More importantly, join my community. Wisdom. You guys, I can't make this up. Wisdom. We're learning. And you need to be patient with yourself while you are learning. Rome wasn't built in a day. And you're undoing not just what you know, you're undoing what the world knows. Feminine energy has been persecuted for a very long time. And when I say long time, I'm talking back in the day. Mary Magdalene was persecuted. Yeah, from the longest time. So be patient. You are going to step into it as long as you want, as long as you're working on yourself. So it's here for you. No. No is a word that we all need to use more often. Oh, can I tell you? No might be my favorite word. It might be. Because I could care less how anyone's going to feel. If I have to say no, I'm going to say no. And this is something that I struggled with. No was hard. And no is hard nowadays. We're taught as women, feminines, that when you say no, you are not cooperative. We're taught to be people pleasing from young. As a young girl, you're taught to be a people pleaser. And this works against us so heavily. When you are pleasing others, you can't please yourself. You're not walking your path if you're making sure everybody else is comfortable. So learn to say no when you need to. Practice that this week. Say no to something that you don't want to do. You don't want to pick up an extra shift at work and they're asking you to. Simply say no. Simply say no. Somebody needs you to go somewhere and you are exhausted and you know you need to rest. Say no. No is a full sentence. No. And if someone wants to ask you why, I'll leave that up to you to decide if you're going to explain, but you don't need to explain. No just means I don't want to. And you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, especially if it's working against you. If it's in favor of someone else, but it's to your detriment, God didn't authorize that. Say no. Any other advice? Pride. Don't allow your pride to slow down your growth. And I love that there's a cat on this card because, you know, you got the feminine. Never be too prideful to ask for help as well. It's one of the reasons why I really want to build this community, especially for feminines, because we really don't have a place. Divine feminines don't have a place. We are very leery about stepping into new positions and spaces. I definitely am. I'll tell you that much. I've been in spaces and places where my energy intimidates the other feminines. You really see who is ready to step into their femininity by the way that they receive someone who already has. That is the telltale sign. Because the divine feminine is not with the competitiveness. She's not competing with anyone. The only person she's trying to be better than is herself. It's the only person. She doesn't compare her walk to anybody. She doesn't think she's better than anybody. If you are holding any of these qualities, evaluate how you can remove them, because that's not divinity. It just is not. One more card, please, you guys. And they gave me two. They're always going to give me two every time I say one more card. We got Dark Night of the Soul, which I think I touched on that when I first started this channel message. Shadow work. Shadow work. Check where you are when it comes to your shadow. There are things that you've been through that need to be dissected. You need to understand where they came from, why they exist, what has happened to you, accepting that it has happened, extracting the lessons. What did I learn here? I learned something about trust. Maybe I learned that when you trust too easily, that people have the ability to do the worst to you. Maybe I didn't vet them enough to be trusting them. You're learning something. Extract your lessons. But Dark Night of the Soul is needed. You have to evaluate where you've been. Vices. These are hard ones right here, you guys. Your vices don't necessarily have to be drogas. It doesn't necessarily have to be, drinking. It doesn't have to be partying. It could be any form of distraction. You could watch Netflix, binge, 8 hours of Netflix when you could have did something a little bit different with your time or worked on your divinity in that time. But instead you decided you was going to binge. That is a vice. So understand your vices and don't shame somebody else for theirs. Camera cut out, but it is what it is. All right, so the last thing I was going to say is don't shame anyone for their vices, their vice of choice. And the reason why I feel guided to say that is because many people, it doesn't necessarily have to be feminine, believe that one person's vice can make them worse or good or whatever. They have a judgment on their choice. You eating sugar in excess is just as terrible for you as someone who does a physical droga. You deciding that you're going to overeat, overconsume, and not pay attention to your health is just as bad as being a raging alcoholic. You can't compare. You cannot. And that is also a judgment. Everyone here on this planet finds a vice, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something huge. Shoot, mine is coffee. I have coffee every single day. And as straight and narrow as my diet is, I like coffee. It is what it is. I love it in the morning when I first wake up. And it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I digress. But yeah, that. Allow yourself grace. Allow yourself compassion so that you can expand. It's important. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. Thank you for being present. I don't know who you are, but I want to know you. So, I don't know. Put a comment down. Put the heart with the bandages on it. Yes, healing hearts, right? Drop some hearts in the comments. And yeah, make sure you subscribe because we are already family if you're here. I was here to guide you, and we're going to keep doing that, all right? I love you all. Love and light, y'all. And peace.